Welcome back to another episode of Quick Picks with the Geek. I am your host, Bro Power the Geek. Next up, we've got Talita Problem Child Alencar taking on Ariane Carnelossi. And no, Problem Child isn't just a nickname. It's also what her opponents call her after getting wrapped up like a Chipotle burrito. This is Striker versus Grappler 101. One woman wants to throw hands, the other wants to throw you. Let's break it down. Talita Problem Child Alencar coming in as a -300 favorite with a record of 6-1. Alencar is one of those rare fighters who makes grappling look like art, right before she turns that art into a crime scene. She's a multiple-time BJJ world champion, and when she gets a takedown, it's usually the beginning of the end. Her top control is suffocating. Think of it as quicksand with a black belt. Once she gets on top, opponents don't just lose the round, they lose the will to exist. She mixes in some heavy ground and pound to set up her submissions, which makes her a nightmare for anyone who can't scramble like their life depends on it. Because it kind of does. The most promising part of her game lately, though, has been her improvement on the feet. In her last couple of fights, especially the one against Vanessa Demopoulos, you could actually see her striking start to click. Not world-class yet, but enough to keep her opponents honest. That said, she's still got growing pains in the stand-up department. Her striking defense sits at just over 50%, and she can get rocked when she tries to brawl with more polished strikers. And for someone who's a grappling specialist, her takedown defense at 50% is not exactly ideal. It's a little like finding out your Uber driver failed their driving test. Technically, they can still get you there, but you're not going to relax. The other thing to watch is her decision-making over 3 rounds. She's had a few fights where she struggled to adapt mid-fight. That rematch with Stephanie Luciano showed that when Plan A doesn't work, Plans B through Z are still loading. Still, her elite BJJ means she doesn't need a perfect striking game, just one good entry, and she can end your night. Ariane Carnelossi, coming in as a +250 underdog with a record of 15-3. Carnelossi fights like every exchange is personal. She's built like a tank, throws like a tank, and, unfortunately, sometimes defends like a tank, which is to say, not great if someone gets behind you. She's got 9 knockouts on her record and has made a career out of overwhelming her opponents with pressure and raw power. When she's on, it's chaos. She'll storm forward behind looping hooks, chopping leg kicks, and the kind of intensity that makes you wonder if she's late for a bus. She's also got underrated offensive wrestling, landing takedowns at a 55% clip. So she's not just a headhunter, she can mix in level changes when needed. But the issues are big ones. Her striking defense is a leaky 45%, and she absorbs nearly 5 significant strikes per minute, which means she's getting punched about as often as most people check their phones. Her takedown defense is even worse, a shocking 14%, meaning if Alencar even breathes on her hips, she's probably hitting the mat. That's the kind of stat that makes grapplers start humming love songs. Carnelossi's forward pressure can break lower-level opponents, but against well-rounded fighters or elite grapplers, she tends to get exposed. When she can't bully someone, she starts to fade. Her composure slips, her stance widens, and suddenly she's swinging wild shots like she's trying to win a bar fight. Her toughness is admirable, but it's also the reason she ends up eating so much damage. So, who wins? This one's the classic striker versus grappler puzzle, except the striker's defense is paper thin, and the grappler's specialty happens to be exactly where her opponent struggles most. For Alencar, the path is simple. Get this fight to the ground early and often. She doesn't need to be a world-class wrestler. Carnelossi's 14% takedown defense means even a well-timed trip or body lock could get it done. Once there, Alencar's pressure and top control will suffocate the offense right out of Soriso. The longer it stays on the mat, the worse it gets for Carnelossi. For Carnelossi, she's got one real route: keep it standing and turn it into a dogfight. She has to stuff those first few takedowns, push the pace, and try to make Alencar uncomfortable on the feet. If she can dig into the body, chop the legs, and turn this into a brawl, she can absolutely land something big. The problem is, that's like saying, if I can just outrun the cheetah, I'll be fine. Official pick. I'm rolling with Talita Alencar by second round submission. Ariane's pressure might look good early, but once Alencar drags her to the mat, it's going to get ugly fast. Expect a scramble, a transition, and probably a rear naked choke while Carnelossi's still trying to remember how they got there. This fight probably doesn't go the distance, but at least Carnelossi's nickname Sorriso, which means smile, might still apply, just probably not after round 2. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and smash that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a beat when the next video drops. And don't be shy. Leave a comment below and let me know who you got winning this fight. Let's see who really has the crystal ball around here. Until next time.